Well, many of us have gotten a ticket or two from the speed cameras popping up around the area. But what would you do if you racked up several dozen? An Oxon Hill businessman is speaking out after having to pay more than $2,000 in fines. He's also calling on politicians to take a second look at one camera in particular. Denise Douglas explains.
As we're standing here, we can literally see cars slowing down as they are passing this stretch of Indian Head Highway in Forest Heights because they don't want to be caught by those speed cameras right there. But an area businessman says he has gotten 60 tickets from those cameras and he's fed up. He wants something done about them.
Just last week, Will Foreman got another ticket.
And this one here says he was doing
47 in a 35 mile.
This handful is some of the 60 that the drivers at his auto parts store have been slapped with, many of them from this camera in Forest Heights.
When the camera was first installed, we warned all the drivers that there's a camera there, you need to be safe, you need to be careful, you need to go slow. And they said they did, but tickets continued to come in. And every week, the mail lady would show up and here's another ticket. And we began to suspect something was up.
Foreman not only believes that the camera is illegally placed there, but that it's inaccurate and often clocks his workers speeding when they are not.
So we had vehicles that were accused of going 76 miles per hour, and in 0.363 seconds, that vehicle should have traveled 40 feet, yet it only traveled 17 feet. So it's not off by a little, it's off by a lot.
So he has taken his fight against speed cameras operated by OptiTraffic online with a Facebook page and petition that he plans to send to the legislature and governor.
I've contacted the state's attorney's office, the governor's office, the state highway administration, the county executive. I've contracted.
And Foreman is promising to keep pushing and speaking out until something is done.
I would like to see the people of OptiTraffic and the people of the town of Forest Heights, the mayor and her council members, handcuffed and taken to jail because they're stealing from the public. And it's no different from a thug that comes in here and robs us.
Will Foreman says that he's appealing 10 of the tickets. Check this out, though. He'll have to pay $80 each to do that. But for him, he says it's worth it to prove his point. I'm Denise Douglas, CTV News.
Now, each ticket is $40. The spokesman for OptiTraffic, the company that runs the speed cameras, says they are checked daily for accuracy. In regard to the location, the police department decides where the cameras are placed. Well, the revenue that's generated may be good for communities, but speed cameras are becoming increasingly controversial among the public and consumer advocacy organizations.
One such group is AAA Mid-Atlantic, and Kristen Nevels, a spokeswoman for the Auto Club, is here to talk more about this issue. Kristen, thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
Well, we heard a very passionate response there from that man involved in that story. Can you tell us, where does AAA stand on this issue, and are speed cameras good for the community?
Well, we do believe that speed cameras are good for the community when used for the right purpose, and that is to prevent crashes and cut down on crashes and speeding. In this case, we're questioning the cameras that OptiTraffic has up in the city. Also, we're concerned about the adjudication process. What's happening is when motorists go in to argue their tickets and argue the fact that they weren't speeding, the courts aren't taking their testimony as word. They're requiring expert witnesses. And as you saw in the story, the mathematics is there, but that's not enough. They're requiring expert witnesses to come in and talk about why what their cameras are reading may not be correct.
Well, a recent report by U.S. PIRG is saying that it's less about the safety issue, which is what is being claimed, and more about the money. And in fact, some of these companies that are running the cameras are actually paid by how many citations are sent out on over their system. So how do you feel about that?
And that's one of the concerns with this particular company. They're very close to the adjudication process. They receive a good portion of the amount that the motorists pay when they pay their tickets in the courts. The courts in the county, they do receive some of the money, but the camera company receives a decent portion.
How much percentage-wise are we talking about with the company receiving?
We're looking at about 40% of that fee. So if you look at Mr. Foreman and he's gotten $2,000 worth of tickets, then that's a significant amount going to the company and not going towards safety and protection of motorists, pedestrians, and cyclists on our area roads.
That's interesting. I think that's part of a lot of the frustration, but a lot of times people don't think that they have any rights. Is there anything, or should people be doing anything to prevent speed cameras from coming into their communities?
Not necessarily to prevent, but if you feel that the speed camera in your community is inaccurate, is giving tickets unnecessarily, then you should contact your local representative, for your local council person. It is a state law that allows the cameras, but it's up to each jurisdiction to put cameras in particular places.
And I understand that the state legislature, you are going to be lobbying to make some changes in terms of this. Tell us about that.
Yes, one of the main things that we'll be lobbying for are the cameras that are in place in the school zones. Right now, those cameras operate even when school isn't in session, and that's a little bit absurd. So that's one of the things we'll be lobbying for. We'll also be lobbying for the counties to have more say-so as opposed to the camera operating companies.
Okay, well, Ms. Nevels, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.